Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or cod, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, massive show coming to you tonight. We've actually got 2 hours of content that we're going to squeeze into 1 hour, so it's going to be a very, very big show. Adam Ring, another fantastic week of fishing, big snapper around everywhere, big cod at Lake Eildon. It's just been fantastic, hasn't it?
Yeah, we're in a bit of a crazy time of year for both us down in Metro, Dave, and also you, Trelly, with the cod firing up again for another season. It's been a good start. A little bit of feral weather rolling through today, but it won't last long.
Trelly, after 31 days of no cases of COVID.
I was going to say November.
No, we might actually cross to you because we've had to put you in quarantine over the corner. But the rules say that after 31 days of no cases, someone's going to switch the camera. Trelly is still isolated over in the corner. There you go.
Yeah,
we apologise to you, Trelly, but
we're 10 metres from everybody.
Yeah, but after 31 days, we still can't trust each other to be sitting at the bar.
No.
You know, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, it's tough stuff. You've been out and about, Trelly. It's hard to talk to you because you're not even in the set.
Not in shot, that's right.
It's like you're in the next room.
Yeah.
But you've been out releasing golden tagged cod.
Exactly, yeah. We had Craig Ingram up and a couple of the guys up, and last couple of days we released quite a few golden tagged cod. So I don't know. I think there was about 50 in the Shepparton area.
We got the exact. We are going to talk about that in more detail. Don't give too much away. But a couple of special guests, excuse me, in the studio tonight. Two ladies that work up at Snobs Creek Hatchery, which is, I reckon, 75 years old, or getting close to 75 years old. Adele, Moyes, welcome to Talking Fishing. First time on the show.
It is, yes. First time probably watching the show.
Too busy working, Dave. Just working hard.
Yeah. What do you do for a living?
So I'm the native fish manager at Snobs Creek.
Yep.
So in winter that's a pretty quiet gig, but in summer it's full on. It's full on.
Yeah.
That's a good
couple of photos there. What's that? What are you doing there? Oh, okay. What are you doing here? Trout cod.
So we got some new trout cod broodstock last year. So any new broodstock to the hatchery come through, we assess them. So I'm just checking that fish to make sure it's all okay, getting weights and lengths. That's
what you do for a living.
It's pretty good.
Do you know there's about 20,000 people that just said, I want that job?
Line up.
Yeah. Anyways, Rhiannon, Atkinson, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What do you do for a living?
So I organise all our fish stockings across Victoria.
Yep.
So I work with our production team at Snobs Creek in getting our salmonids and natives in over 300 waterways in a year. So busy. 300
waterways sounds, that's achievable. That's, no. But I want to put it in difficult terms. You've got to achieve 10 million fish by 2022.
That's correct, yep.
We're going to ask you how you're going to do that later on
so
the show.
So the winter's not so quiet for you, I'm
No. So it's always full on at Snobs Creek. We're aiming for 8 million for this year, and then by next year 10 million. So we're going to focus a lot more on getting those natives out as well. So
and unlike the natives that you put in as quite small fish, you've got to keep those, or you actually got to grow the trout out, don't you, for quite some time and get them to a decent size and stonkers and ex-brood stock and all that stuff. Like, you've got a bit of looking after, haven't you?
Yeah, there's a lot of different sizes we work with as well, but
lots to chat about tonight. I tell you, it's going to be really interesting. We're going to delve into the careers of these two ladies that work up at Snobs Creek. Fantastic hatchery, like I said, 75, I think, years old, and just a magic place. You have a couple of open days a year. I'm not sure when the next one will be. COVID, probably about 2028 or something like that.
Yeah.
Way we're going with the rules.
A few more days to no cases.
Can't even get Trelly on the set. But anyway, folks, let's have a look at what's been caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano.
It is snapper season. I tell you what, a lot of people are out there enjoying snapper season. Week 2 of Hastings Boat Ramp being open.
Yeah, like that. What a privilege.
Been quite packed down there. Have a look at this. Adam Powell got out 5.6 kilo snapper off Lysarts, which is in Hastings. So
young
well
guns
done.
getting amongst it.
You can see Lysarts, the buildings in the background for all those people that work there.
Can you see that from over there, Charlie?
Yeah, I can see that. All clear. Go on, Adam.
I thought you were in the other room, Charlie.
That's all right.
Yeah. All right, 3 young people got out. Cooper, Kenzie and Harry. Have a look at this. Aboard Steve Johnson's Ace Fishing Charters. Captain Steve Johnson. Lovely King George whiting by the trio.
Whiting have been unbelievable for the start of the snapper season.
I've got to say, I reckon the whiting are bigger in Western Port. And I hate that because I only fish Port Phillip.
Yeah.
But they're bigger in Western Port.
Yeah, the average has been really good so far.
But Corio Bay.
Well, I was going to say, Trolley, have you seen size over there? They've been good?
There's some really good size, and great numbers. Really good numbers.
Numbers are good.
Yep, for sure.
I think you're really in for a big season over in Geelong.
Yep.
It's going to be a big season. So, now this photo here taken during the week, Johnny and Peter, have a look at this 94 centimetre snapper off Williamstown. That's a cracking fish. Look at the tail.
I was going to say, you can tell by the tail and how thick that tail is.
That's not even the size of the big Murray cod broodstock that you have swimming around your ponds, is it?
They're pretty good competition, I reckon.
Has he got an
I've
eyebrow?
seen some of those cod.
You look like an eyebrow.
What's that?
You look like an eyebrow, that fish.
Probably did.
He did.
Probably smoking a cigar before he got aboard.
Smoke it.
Now have a look at this. This is a good story. Joe Montebello, who is 83 years old.
Joey.
This is his first snapper for the season, 3.5 kilos at the Spoil Grounds.
Nice.
Now Joe, apparently he played for Altona under-9s when Don Newman was coach there. I think that puts Don at 105.
Nice, Donny.
But I think Donny coached Joe in footy when Joe was a kid. So
They all end up fishermen, but don't they?
they do.
Yeah.
Good on Joe, getting out at 83.
It's good effort.
Absolutely.
Asian snapper. Hope I'm doing it. Trelly, you'd be lucky to be alive, I reckon.
Lucky now.
Another good fish off Altona near the Spoil Ground. Steve Walsh, lovely snapper. Have a look at that.
It's good fish.
Well done, Steve.
Nice fish.
We'll slam through these now. Marcelo, a lovely 4.1 kilo snapper off Morty Alec. Now, Matt Sokolowski wrote to us. He said he was entered in the Peninsula Snapper Challenge.
Yep.
And because of the bad weather, he couldn't get out, so he went down to Portsea Pier. Have a look at that for a calamari.
Nice.
Ripper.
Hey? Probably been out of the water for a little while, but
That's all right.
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Get ready for the table.
All right. This is something I think both of you, Rhiannon and Rhiannon and Adele, something that you probably don't get to see. I don't know if you do. We're going to talk about it later. But do you get to see the side of the happiness, which is the result of your stocking? You know,
Working with Steve Vidler, yes.
Oh, you do. Of course you do.
He's
Of
a
course you
freak,
do.
right?
But you know, I guess the result is, have a look at this. Paul Del Oglio, a 92 centimetre Murray cod at Lake Eildon, and
That's great.
Charlie, that looks like the wall in the background.
Yeah, I reckon you're right. That's a good spot. Cat's out of the bag.
When you've got to cut all the cod, you know it's decent.
Yeah, and that looks like a hatchery fish, don't it? It's got a real deep belly on it, I reckon.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I was going
Nice.
to say, does Adele want?
Nice.
What are you feeding them? McDonald's or something?
Yeah.
Like that? How do you fatten them up like
Secret recipe.
that? Trelly,
Let's get that in Barty
by the wall, you'd have to fish quite deep, wouldn't you? The fish would be down deep.
Yeah, actually, you do have to fish quite deep there. You get some big bib lures or some of the swim baits and put chin weights on them, up to an ounce and a half, and let them go right down before you actually start working them. So find
Does
them on the
anyone jig
sounders.
for them, Charlie? Yeah, sort of micro and small jigging's become a big thing from snapper through to bass.
Yeah.
Did anyone try it?
They have with plastics,
Yep.
but not really that sort of successful. So then, if your mate's catching fish and you're not, you quickly change back to the other
100%.
styles. But I'm sure if you actually, persisted,
a big yabby.
you would. Oh yeah, yabbies. Yeah, true.
All right, moving quite along. Dallas Barber, have a look at this. Dallas got a 28 centimetre brown trout in the Midder River. First trout for the season. She was
Nice.
pretty racked with that. Well done,
Beautiful
Dallas.
place, Midder.
And have a look at this. Mike Nicholas wrote to us yesterday. He was out fishing for snapper. Nothing special. Bit of squid on the hook. A 116 centimetre mulloway.
So
He
not a
said
small mulloway.
It went under the boat. Now Matt wrote to me again today. Just a few more details.
Mike or Matt?
Mike even.
Sorry, what did I say? Matt. Sorry,
Mike.
Mike. That that photo was like within seconds, and he watched that fish swim away. Now, and I don't reckon too many people would do that when they caught a 116 mile.
But great photo though.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Great photo.
Yeah.
They get barotrauma down here like they do up north.
I don't know the
Oh, it's not that one.
I'm not too sure.
Snappy do.
Yeah.
But
chip in there.
Hey?
Nah, we're just up north where you catch the mulloway, which are the big jewfish. You know, you take them off a certain depth, and they get that barotrauma, so you must keep them.
Yeah. That was a cracking fish, though.
That was a great fish.
Really good fish. Well done. If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au. Go Moyes!
Yeah, I wanna go fishing.
Coming up, fisheries news, including a picture of the $10,000 trout that was caught last week. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wear the line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
And welcome back to Talking Fishing. A bit of news coming up, but shortly we are going to talk with Adele and Rhiannon again from Snobs Creek. Both absolute superstars for the Victorian stocking program, and we're going to talk about what you do for a living and really pick your brains on all that sort of stuff. So be prepared, girls. Fisheries news, I'll tell you what, this is unbelievable. The headline is "Tagged fish is a catch that can't be beat," with a B-E-T-E. A fly fisher has struck gold at Lake Purrumbete near Camperdown, landing a $10,000 fish as part of the relaunched Golden Tag competition. Minister for Fishing and Boating Melissa Horne said it was exciting to see the expanded competition was providing a draw card for visitors to regional areas. Melbourne's Alex Georgeopoulos was the lucky fisher to score the $10,000 prize, landing the tagged brown trout in the early hours of Sunday morning. Alex says he plans to spend his winnings on more fishing trips around regional Victoria, giving people in the country a helping hand after a tough year. I think we've got a photo of the $10,000 fish coming up very shortly.
Just got to free catch it, Dave. Just hold on.
And that's it.
Good fish.
Show the fish? No?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Good
Here we
fish.
go.
That's a $10,000 fish. Now you can see in there little yellow tags, so it's no different than any other tag.
Yep.
But I'm told it has 10K written on it. How good's that?
Nice.
All right. The headline, front page, Trelly. Have a look at this.
Hey,
Have a look at this on your screens now. Oh yeah, Trelly.
hey, there I am.
What are you doing there?
I'll let the fish go.
This is what it said in the Shepparton News this week. Murray, cod and Goulburn perch have been tagged with $2,000 and $10,000 bounties, and they were released into the Goulburn River in Shepparton on Monday, November 30, so that was yesterday, in a state government bid to boost tourism coming into summer. These fish, they've been put into a secret spot, it actually goes on to say.
Yep.
And within the Goulburn, there have been both $10,000 and $2,000 fish. Where have they gone?
Well, one went just that way, go a bit further, was there.
Yeah.
And the other one was that way. And there was one in the lake, mind you. There was one actually went into the lake.
In
Lake
Victoria,
Victoria, in the middle of Shep. We released one Murray cod in there, and I can't tell you if it was the $2,000 fish or the $10,000 fish, but there is one in Lake Victoria in the middle of Shep, and so
Someone's
get down
just
there.
got to catch it.
Absolutely, yeah.
$2,000, you'd be happy with that, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
Take that in, Dave.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have a look at the next photo. This is great news for the people of Tutgaruk. What an old-fashioned way to dig the channel out. There's actually excavators. Oh, that looks like 100 metres offshore.
Yeah.
They've dug the Tutgaruk channel. Why are they doing that in November? Wouldn't you do that So it's ready for the boating season?
No, all the resource was taken up by the Hastings boat ramp, Dave. So that was a bit tough.
Yeah. I've got to say, there's been a few things, probably coming up in Mailbag, you'll hear a few complaints. But I've got to say that in this last week, where there's a new CEO of Better Boating Victoria, remarkable response to some of the issues that have come up in the last week.
Good.
Like onto them. And I know that's been a long time coming, but it is ridiculous, and this can't happen again, that we're dredging a channel late November when people wanted to be fishing for calamari in August into it. It's got to be done a lot earlier than that. So, all right, lucky last. Countdown is on for Murray cod season. Just a reminder, it is the opening of cod season today. Charlie.
Today.
And I had some reminders here. Where are they? Reminders. Fishers that there's catch limits for Murray cod, including a minimum size of 55 and a maximum size of 75. In rivers, the bag limit is 1 Murray cod per person per day. In lakes, the bag limit is 2. So there you go. Murray cod open today.
And if you wish to catch and release one of these $2,000 or $10,000 fish, you can actually snip that little tag off, release the fish, and still get your money on the tag. Yep, I was told.
All right, Adele, Rhiannon, question time. How many Murray cod are produced at Snobs Creek, Adele?
As many as I decide to grow.
Really? It's lots, isn't it?
Yeah, as many as we can get hold of.
Yeah. So I think we've got some photos here too of the nesting boxes.
That was going to be a question of mine. So because I drive from Shepparton to my Bendigo store, and in between Shepparton and Stanhope, there's these big logs, hollow logs. I keep on sending the photo to Travis, so come pick them up. You can use them up the new hatchery. So they always use those nesting boxes there. And where are you up to with the production of Murray cod at the moment?
So I don't know the history of the nesting box. I know that a couple of the guys around the farm at the moment talk about the good old days. They used to dive on them in the middle of the ponds.
They used to what?
We don't do that anymore.
What, dive on the nesting boxes?
Yeah.
What,
so
leave them in there?
Yeah, so they didn't have to disturb them. But no, we're too lazy, us millennials. So we just put them on the banks. Yeah, efficient. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah. So we just put them on the banks. It was a good video that Rhiannon got of me a couple of months ago, putting them in September.
We showed that.
Yeah.
Oh no, we showed the one getting the eggs out.
Yeah. So that's the next step. So we put them out in September, and then when the cod are ready, when the temperatures are up, and we get a couple of thunderstorms, they get laying.
What?
And then we go out.
Thunderstorms?
Yeah, love them.
That triggers them?
It's one factor.
Wow.
So yeah, they get laying, and then we can collect the eggs out of there really easily. Wooden log, a little bit more challenging.
Yep.
Some fly screen wrapped around a metal frame, a lot more manageable. That makes it a lot easier for us, and easier on the eggs too. We don't damage them as much.
Good work. So, and how's the production going? How's it looking this year?
Oh, cracking.
Really?
Yeah. So we've already got larvae in ponds, in plankton ponds. I was just chatting to Rhiannon on the way down. We'll be getting ready to stock them out next couple of weeks.
I think we got a little video of some of the little fish. We're going to show this now. How old would these fish be?
Oh, maybe a month.
Oh, really?
A month from hatching.
Yeah.
Maybe. Less than.
Wow.
So we're feeding them at the moment. So these guys are getting food in the hatchery. I've also defying gravity in this picture. It's pretty amazing stuff. It's not great.
This is real because you filmed this on your phone this morning.
I did today.
And somehow into production, when you do something on the phone, it's gone upside down. It's
Technology can't keep up with
it. Yeah, right, Kev. That is amazing. What do you feed them?
So sea monkeys.
What?
So kids at home, if you've got sea monkeys, that's what we are growing en masse.
The kids still
wants to come back.
Do you remember sea monkeys?
I remember them, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not that old.
Lucky you won't
I
come
thought
back.
sea monkeys was an old person.
I used to have sea monkeys.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You can probably still get them now.
Yeah, because he'll get them.
Yeah.
Do you want me to get you some from Snobs? We got heaps.
You feed the baby cod sea monkeys.
Yeah, so they're a little shrimp.
Yeah.
So you think of the big cod love yabbies and shrimp that they find in rivers. So the babies are just the same.
There you go.
Imagine coming back as a sea monkey in your next life.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even cheesed off, would you?
Rhiannon, once Murray cod reach size to stock, how do you work out where they're going to go?
That's a good question. So with our natives, we shuffle a lot with external hatcheries as well. So we just sort of work around the time frame of what's available and what we can do with staffing and vehicles. So with the snobs, we obviously try and prioritise to get them out when we can, and they're usually around 1 gram by the time we put them out. And yeah, we'll try to put them in local waters, and
Yeah. So Rhiannon, we probably mentioned the numbers before, but how many cod are we looking at this year, and how long does it take? Because the guys that we worked with in Shepparton yesterday were going from Shepparton to Rocklands. You mentioned 300 waters, so it must take a period of time to get them out. And how many how are you going?
Yeah, so I think cod production, not sure if you mentioned numbers, we sort of sit around 700,000 to 800,000 average a year.
Yep.
And time frame, I mean, our vehicles and drivers are out pretty much every day of the year, and that doesn't not include Christmas and things like that. So public holidays, weekends.
Yeah, I noticed
it takes a long time.
Yeah,
yep.
I noticed one of the young blokes got bogged on Paul Salmon's lawn again last year.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one.
They're a bit later than planned.
I want Paul again.
So wow, so that's 700,000 to 800,000, and so you're just producing as many as you can.
As many as we can, and then we top up with farms around the state and in New South Wales.
Okay, so you still got to get a bit of that in from New South
yeah.
Wales. I think we've got a question later on about how many you get from interstate. We might talk about that too with yellow belly and that. But that is amazing. When you see, I'll come back to the same question. Like when you see those big cod being caught, I mean, you guys are responsible for that.
We will be.
Yeah, but I guess your predecessors, and Steve, worked there for quite some time, and I know there was a few old blokes before you guys, so, but Snobs has really been responsible for a remarkable fishery in Lake Eildon, hasn't it?
Yep, and that's one of the good things about where we work as well, is that we're actually making a difference for future fishing, and it's really good to see from step one to the end the result. So yep, it's good to be part of.
We'll talk about after the break how you're going to stock 10 million fish. It's going to be quite remarkable. Coming up next, product of the week, and we're going to talk more about stocking with Adele and Rhiannon next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Okay, we've got something just a little bit exciting for product of the week this week. Something brand new on the market, and we have never seen anything like it, which in this day and age with the rate at which new things come out, it's actually quite rare. This is called Flash Boost, and it's just a little something extra to get your lures dancing around and make a lot of commotion, trying to get the attention of those hungry fish nearby. I want to focus solely on the squid jigs and also the sinking stick minnows, which have been highly popular over the last few seasons for kingfish and bluefin tuna. But basically what Flash Boost is, if you can just bring the computer, if you just bring the camera close in on this lure that I'm holding now, you can already see it. There's a flashing going on.
Oh, then we move off it.
There we go. There's a flashing going on. There we go. If I just tap the lure there, so picture you're working this lure through the water. So a lure like this, you'd be working a long sweeping motion or keeping the rod tip high and just winding like crazy. There's basically a holographic bit of material that sits in the clear part of the lure that's attached on 2 micro springs. So every time you move the lure or the lure moves, hits by a wave, whatever, that little piece of holographic material starts flashing. It's going to catch every single piece of light that it can and throw it for miles, bringing everything, basically just making it a more attractive piece of work. So, listen, that lure I'm holding up there, for kingfish and bluefin tuna especially, it's probably one of the biggest in things in the moment in blue water fishing for us Victorians, is chasing those pelagic species on stick baits like this. I think this has potential to change the game. Kingfish especially can, for a fish that's renowned to be one of the most aggressive fish in the sea, can be incredibly painful to try and catch, because they'll let you look at them. They'll chase something at 100 miles an hour and then back out at the last minute and continue to sit there and let you look at them just to drive you mad. I honestly think this is going to make a huge difference. So that's coming into the game season. I think that's going to be huge, Charlie.
Yep.
This one's pretty exciting. So the same technology in a squid jig.
Can we get a close-up of that?
I think it's probably safe to say that a Victorian calamari has seen just about every single squid jig ever made with the popularity of squidding over the last 15 years. Again, I honestly think, particularly in clear water, because of the way that hologram works.
You're going to see that a mile away.
Yeah.
On a sunny day.
That's right. So I think the other thing this is going to do as well is get people experimenting with different colours. Because of the hologram, you've either got to be working with a clear body like this or a very light cloth, which this one is here. So they come in a 2.5 and a 3 size. I dare say at some point, just with the early popularity of them, I dare say we'll see a 3.5 at some point. And if we don't, Shimano, have a crack. It's going to get people experimenting. I think it's probably going to be more relevant in clear water, so Port Phillip Bay especially. But Western Port, even if with a bit of a murky water and the sun being quite high, it's still going to catch that hologram and really get the squid honing in on something. So that's Flash Boost. We've seen everything over the last 10 years, and then you think you've seen it all when something like that comes out. I genuinely think Flash Boost could be a game changer in the lure market. It just provides that something. You all right, mate?
What's this one?
Who let you out?
I reckon, I'll just go through too. I reckon if you used up at Eildon, right, and you put a chin weight on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you reckon?
For the cod.
A chin weight on that, and you put that down as a big oil, just worked it. That's got to work on freshwater too, I reckon.
They'd have to.
Well, I reckon.
My little tip.
Well, I reckon we need to get them on doing a sea monkey pattern.
All right, there you go. You take, yeah, that's right. A sea monkey pattern. There, and you can have that one after the show.
So that's Flash Boost. Have a look for it. Stock can be a little bit limited just with restrictions in manufacture and COVID business, but they are starting to filter through now. And like I said, coming into bluefin and yellowfin, yellowtail kingfish season, they are going to be game changers. I'd almost put money on it.
Game changer.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done, Ads. Good bit of technology there. All right.
Yeah, something basic.
Back to the questions for Rhiannon and Adele. How the hell are you going to stop 10 million fish?
That's a great question. So yeah, this year we're aiming for 8 million, and yeah, by 2022 we're hoping to get to 10 million. At Snobs Creek we produce around 1.2 to 1.3 million salmonids, so that's our trout and our Chinook salmon.
Yep.
And then the rest of them sort of made up with natives, which we sort of get from both at Snobs and then external hatcheries as well. So it's just going to take a lot of work from our team, a lot of collaboration with stakeholders, and just a lot of time.
So is there a season like a salmonic season as to a native season? Is it overlapping, or is it just completely different parts of the year where we actually do the producing and work on these?
Yeah, so they're quite distinctive. So we do the salmonids in the winter in the cooler waters, and then we do the natives in the summer when the waters start getting a bit warmer, and that's just based on reproduction and temperature changes and things like that. So
you're finding, because I reckon summers are getting longer. Like you even get into May now and the water's still warm, isn't it? Sometimes. And when do you have it? What's your normal crossover time?
I mean, we sort of run from April to November if we have to with the salmonids, and then we sort of designate the entire summer into
I think we've got a couple of photos too while we're talking, just to some of the stocking that does go on. There you go. So that's one of the trucks.
Yep. So that'll be one of our either estuary perch or bass stockings. So they need to acclimate the fish into the water just to make sure they don't get any shock when we put them in. And there's our truck again, just backing into stock some more fish. And when we can, we like to get assistance with either stakeholders or fisheries officer to disperse them in the boats, and that's just sort of to spread them out,
around,
find some more habitat, create greater success that we can with creating a nice stable habitat for them.
Yeah. You mentioned briefly before that there was still a percentage of fish coming from elsewhere, not just coming from Snobs. Now, I'd assume the pressure from that's going to be taken up by Acadia when that's up and running. But what percentages are we talking coming in from other states like New South Wales?
Oh, I mean,
Is it what you can get, I guess, because you're limited, you'd be limited to what they're producing as well, is that right?
Yeah, well, so for example, we're aiming for about 8 million target this year. So we've done about 1.2, 1.3 with the salmonids, which leaves a gap of natives. And externally, we're looking at over 6.5 million fish to pick up from external hatcheries. And majority of these are up New South Wales, and that's just because that's where prime conditions are for those native fish. So as we mentioned before, we produce the Murray cod and Trout cod at Snobs, and then we do pick up the silvers and golden perch from external hatcheries.
And a golden perch all from New South Wales, or is there someone in Victoria producing them?
They're all from New South Wales at the moment. We might be picking some up from some Victorian source.
So do you send your Victorian trucks up to New South Wales to pick those stock up?
So just put it into frame, just to pick up any fish from New South Wales. That's 2 to 3 days out of the week already, working on a 5-day week. So it's pretty intensive, and it takes a lot of effort from not just our drivers, but the entire team to get it sorted. So
I want to put a picture up of your challenge. I think we've got the graph here of how you're going to get to 10 million.
Yeah, so that's sort of just you can see that it's
do you get the flick if you don't reach that?
I'd be renegotiating that.
Yep.
Bonus on numbers.
Let's just hope not.
I didn't really know.
You make that graph, don't you? You can
so this is just something I put together to sort of see what we've done in the past 10 years, and we sort of sat around 1 to 2 for a while, and then we thought, hey, why don't we just go up to 10? So
I've got a feeling it might be something to do with politicians promising at election time.
No.
I'd love to see the look on the New South Welshmen's faces when all the Victorian trucks pull up, thinking, what are you doing with all these golden perch?
Yeah, border crossing was interesting.
It's an ambitious plan, but I think you're going to get there.
We can do it.
Yeah, amazing. We're going to talk lots more. Coming up, Kramer's Mailbag, and we're going to take a look at Macquarie perch next on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worslam's Tackle World Cranbourne. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
All right, bit of mailbag, I can tell you, and it's almost like answer phone complaints department. Anyway, all good. This one came through today from Ron. Ron writes, "Hi David, here's some pics of Avalon boat ramp after a water tanker broke one of our 2 ramps. Broke. I rang Geelong Council to ask them to fix it. This is how they fixed it. Have a look at the photos. By putting large rocks in front and a barrier. Now we only have 1 ramp. Great in the middle of the season. Love the show, boys." From Ron.
So a water tanker
is back down. Well, he's probably filling up to spray on the roads or CFA or whatever. But he actually collapsed the ramp.
I can get them rocks removed.
Well, I'll tell you who can get the rocks removed. So this got sent. So that came through last night. Sent to Better Boating Victoria. I'm telling you, Catherine is on the job. I'm telling you, boating is going to get better under Better Boating Victoria, which is the first time we've said that this year. So this is from Catherine today. Thanks for sending this through. We've spoken to City of Geelong, City of Greater Geelong about this. They've had a couple of meetings scheduled this week with potential contractors already to finalise a works package to resolve this ASAP. I'll provide an update either towards the end of the week or next week when I know when it can be repaired. It could be a concrete pour or it could be precast. They're working on it. There's another lane next to it which is still open, but obviously this isn't great given the congestion at this time of year. The Better Boating Fund and the associated strategy which we're developing will set out to identify priorities of ramp upgrades, and I know they've already done a whole lot of work in the background about conditions of ramps, and hopefully something like that ramp that has obviously been undercut.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, so the truck cost it just collapses. I just reckon Catherine's onto this sort of stuff, and like I said earlier on, absolutely brilliant responses. You know, in week one of a new CEO there, so absolutely fantastic. Next one comes through from Phil. Phil writes, "Dear Kramer and the team, love your show. Keep up the fantastic work. We anglers in Victoria don't have a decent boat ramp." See, that's what I mean by complaints department. Don't have a decent boat ramp along the west coast of Victoria ocean fishing. From Ocean Grove, the last of the ocean boat ramps, to Lorne, which is only a sand boat ramp, the distance is 77 kilometres. The next useful boat ramp is Apollo Bay, distance from Lorne 45 kilometres. We recently travelled to Merimbula boat, and the New South Wales boat ramps at Eden, New South Wales boat ramps are one of the best in Australia. I'm appalled, as Better Boating Victoria should build a 4-lane boat ramp at Lorne and perhaps a breakwater or a marina. Us Victorian anglers keep waiting and hoping that one day this boat ramp will be built for a better Victoria. Target 2 million, bring it on. There you go, Phil. You might get a job with the government, but I can tell you now, the person in charge of Better Boating Victoria, they're going to actually address some of these issues. Mick.
This is about a boat ramp?
It's about a boat ramp.
Oh, next.
Where's the minister when you need
Oh.
it? Yeah, anyway. Hello, Kramer and others. I recently launched at Frankston and found it hard to park the car and trailer in the free parking zone as they were taken up with cars without trailers. Clearly marked signs, but no one is patrolling. Frankston Council can put an extra 20k in their coffers per week if they sent someone down to write tickets.
This should be a common sense issue, not a, authority.
Well, can I just say, this is what I think needs to happen, is that you've got, I don't know, there's 40 boat ramps around Port Phillip and Western Port.
Yep.
And I think there's 20 different managers of that land. So whether it's Mornington Peninsula Shire, Committees of Management, Parks Victoria, Melbourne Water, City of Greater Geelong, Frankston Council in that case, they need to take the boat ramps off them. And if those boat ramps were managed by Better Boating Victoria, then they don't have to ask permission to do anything. They don't have to they just get on with it. They've got some ownership. They'll get on to do it. They will. I mean, we've seen what Travis can do with signage, and yet we don't seem to be able to get that from anyone else. So
I think that's probably likely to happen at some point. It's not going to be a fast process though. So in the meantime,
go down there, take your boat
a little bit of common sense. If it's a boat park,
take your boat trailer off, park it behind that car that's there.
And put your trailer next to it, blocking the next car too.
And last one in. I know wherever this should have fitted, but results from the Peninsula Snapper Challenge, 185 entrants. The open winner, Tony Blackford, 870 mils.
Nice.
Kayak winner, Carl Wilkinson, 770 mils. Junior winner, Jake Solner, 820 mils. So some cracking fish there. Note that the kayak had the smallest fish. I recommend you don't take it up. What?
Oh, just a dig there for Adam, I suppose.
Never.
Kayak haters.
Yeah. We're up to... Oh, okay. Adele.
Yes.
Oh,
every week is the same. He always forgets to close Mailbag. Every week.
If you'd like to write into Kramer's Mailbag, this is what you can do. That's what you have to do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
How many years we've been doing this show, Dave?
6.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to go for a record of how quick they tell me to throw to the end of Mailbag.
Yeah. That was bad. That was not bad. I should say that was really good.
That was 0.8 of a second. I needed to get
well played, Jack. Straight onto that.
Yeah, I need Jack. I think it's Pat now.
Pat. Oh, whichever.
Sounds like Jack.
Sound the same.
Got the Patterson Lake spelled right now.
Is breeding trout cod the same as Murray cod?
I wouldn't say yes, but I'd say from a hatchery perspective, yes.
Why do you not say yes?
I'm confused.
But you do.
Because I know what we do. I don't know what other people do. I know New South Wales have had a crack at breeding trout cod, and I know that other methods have been used in the past. But essentially, we put them in a pond, we feed them, we look after them all winter, and then come summer we put a nesting box in there and we get eggs.
Yeah, because the same process as a cod.
Trout cod more aggressive than cod. They are to fish for.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, see, you'd have to separate them when the male female after they do their business, I reckon.
Do you? Do you have to do that?
But maybe we should. Maybe that's a management tactic I haven't thought of.
Oh, we're listening to Charlie on any subject, especially at this hour of the night.
This is mating.
Yeah, exactly. So, same techniques. Okay, so why aren't you breeding millions of trout cod so that they can be recovered to the point where you just go fishing for them and we have a bag and size? Why aren't you doing that if they're that easy?
So, as you said, they're aggressive.
Yep.
So, we stock Murray cod in brood ponds and they'll breed and we can kind of hold them at a certain density.
Yep.
Trout cod, it's a different story. They'll have their territory in the pond and they might not want to share that with other fish.
Yep.
Not as friendly when it comes to breeding season. So, we just need more ponds.
So, how many trout cod are in a pond?
Oh, it varies.
Yeah,
so maybe
okay.
anywhere from 10 to 20, depending on the size
really?
and the age. So every fish won't breed that year because there'll be different ages and different sizes and they'll seasonally adjust. But yeah, at the moment, we just don't have room at Snobs. We're chockers full of Murray cod.
So what are you going to do?
I'll build another hatchery, I reckon.
Arcadia. So is Arcadia going to be a big trout cod producer, do you think?
No, that'll be Murray cod. So the opposite. So we'll shift the Murray cod over to Shepparton where conditions are a bit nicer for them. We struggle at Snobs with the cold water. So that'll just open up room. Already making plans for next year.
Will you continue at Snobs to do some trout cod?
Oh, more and more.
They're going to
okay,
take
so
it
you're going
over.
to separate the Murray cod and keep the trout cod at Snobs and go the Murray cod
So the
down.
trout cod not as sensitive to the colder.
They are, but we can manage them through the winter.
Yeah.
That's right, just getting to summer. So the trout could actually go earlier.
Oh,
So before we get up to 25, 28 degree ponds, the trout cod have already gone. So
Really?
they'll go before the Murray cod, and in the wild, I imagine that's how they stagger themselves, so they don't compete for resources.
I've got a really, really technical question.
Go for it.
Do trout cod rely on a thunderstorm to do their business?
I'll
Now, we are really getting into intimate stuff.
when we get back tonight, I'll ask them for you.
Now, do they or not? You don't know.
I don't know.
It doesn't take a thunderstorm. Well,
I
I'm
couldn't say.
fascinated that a thunderstorm.
So it's a change in barometric pressure.
Yeah, okay.
That's why I say a thunderstorm.
Fascinated you
Because
thought of that, David.
You see that build.
What's that?
I'm fascinated you thought of that.
Well,
something to do with home? All right.
we're being told we're going to go to a break. We're going to talk about Macquarie perch. We never got to it. But anyway, coming up next, hot spots, and we'll talk about Macquarie perch after the break.
Talking fishing.
The Moyes Motor Yacht Squadron is a trailer boat and social club on Port Phillip Bay. The club has a great range of facilities, including multiple boat ramps, ample car and trailer parking, boat wash and fish cleaning, fishing competitions and boat safety lectures, boating activities and club events, a restaurant and 2 bars. Easy launch and retrieval makes for a relaxing time on the water for you, your family and friends to enjoy. And boating memberships are now available. The Moyes Motor Yacht Squadron, the best trailer boat experience on the bay.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for, Fishing Hotspots, brought to you by the Moyes Motor Yacht Squadron, Melbourne's premier trailer boat club.
All right, let's get through hotspots really quickly because lots to talk about. First one, Edithvale, 16 metres, get out on the snapper Well, I don't know about this weekend. I think it's a bit blowy on Saturday. There's a couple of days, Thursday, Friday, I think are good, and maybe Sunday might be good. If you want to do some land-based snapper fishing, we have got a couple of big blows coming.
Yeah.
Big westerlies, and I think even
Peninsula.
tonight.
Get down to the peninsula.
Yeah, Mount Martha Rocks, I think, is the next one. Absolutely get down there and Mornington Pier as well, I guess.
Definitely.
It's when that westerly's blowing, this is going to be the next few days, you're going to get some nice land-based snapper. Over in Western Port, Lysart snapper, people are just loving that point off Hastings.
Old Donny did a right off there during the week.
Did he? Yeah. If you want a King George whiting, head down to Tortoise Head for some lovely King George whiting. Let's go inland now very quickly. Lake Eildon, Murray cod trolley, fishing well. Yellow belly, maybe have slowed a little bit. We haven't seen as much
Yeah,
demand
slowed
for...
probably a little bit, but I'll tell you, I've got to put a plug in for the Gambie and Shepparton. That environmental flow's gone through.
Yeah.
The water's looking fantastic down there. It's the right temperature, it's the right level and everything. And those golden fish are in that system, the Gambie, Shepparton area.
Nice.
Quite a few, a dozen or so went into the Gambie, I think.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And the Shepparton area. So, yeah, but that way and that way.
I would have had to, I've got to mention that the Howquar is fishing quite good for cod. If anyone, if Travis Dowling can catch one, anyone can catch one. So. And lucky last, get down to Blue Rock. It's a great time of year for the bass, just warming up nicely. The bass love it. Insects on the surface, use your surface lures. Absolutely fantastic down there.
Kayaks heaven down there.
Yeah. I'm happy for kayaks to go down there. Go on.
Now, we've been speaking a lot about, obviously, breeding Murray cod and all that. Macquarie perch is another one we've spoken a little bit about on the show over the last few weeks, and a bit going on there. Easy to breed, too hard to breed? Are they something you're only just sort of getting into, or?
Yeah, I'd say I'm very much a novice in the area, so, and probably the rest of the country are probably sitting in that same bag. So there's a big collaborative effort at the moment coming across Victoria and sort of creeping into New South Wales, where there's a bunch of us trying to crack that code.
Okay, so it is a completely different process.
It is. So perch are just a little bit different to cod.
Yep.
So at the moment we catch wild Macquarie perch, and then we breed from them. And then so yesterday I actually just took them back to Dartmouth Dam, the fish that we'd collected with ARI. So they were our broodstock this year.
So you catch them and they've got roe?
They're coming up to season, so we catch them as they're going upriver to spawn. So they're getting ready.
Yep.
So we sort of take advantage of that. And then we spawn them. We've got the larvae in the hatchery at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting. I can't contain my excitement for how great that is at the moment. And that's all to the hard work of our hatchery staff. It's around the clock, 24/7.
Do you really have to nurture the larvae?
Oh, they're much more sensitive than cod.
Yeah. What temperature?
No, they're about the same temperature.
Yeah, but what's the sensitivity? So, like, what's hard about it?
I don't know.
Just hard.
Just hard.
Yeah.
Does it get easier if the broodstock are brought up in the hatchery? Is that easier are they easier to work with than, say, grabbing a fish out of the wild?
Oh, I'd love to find out.
Yeah, because
so working with a threatened or endangered species is an incredible opportunity. Yep. So the last couple of days have been, or last couple of weeks I should say, feels like days, have been amazing, but we can only take what we can get. So that's what we're working towards, is captive breeding.
This time of year.
That's exciting.
Can you not tell?
Del, I reckon.
No, we won't go down there.
Del, I reckon that they've got a much better chance with you in control than one of us blokes. The motherly side's coming out of you.
I'm not there now.
No, you hang around with Fiddler a bit though, aren't you?
Yeah, Steve is just leading the way.
He's
teaching you every trick he knows.
Absolutely. Oh, maybe not all of them.
Yeah.
But I'll get them out of him.
Yeah. Rhiannon, how do you get help from the public to stock fish? Because obviously, if you need boats to turn up and help spread the fish around, how do you get help? How does that work?
So we've just sort of been building up a contact list over time, and from there I sort of contact anglers or locals or anyone that's reached out to either just the Victorian Fisheries Inquiry or to our communications team, and then you sort of build up that that list over time, talking to council and other catchment management authorities and water authorities. So so if anyone's ever interested, just go on to the Victorian Fisheries website and just contact us. We're always looking for hands.
Yeah.
Not only
you get the fishing clubs and stuff like that?
Yeah. So we try to get all the local anglers involved. But yeah, like I said, it also helps us and our team that's out there stocking. And it's also really great because then we have the opportunity to sort of disperse them more. And I like to think that leads us to greater success over time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Is there times where you need help and you don't get it? And what do you do?
I mean, we always try and work around it.
I work in a tackle shop and I have the same problem.
No, our fisheries officers all across Victoria are really fantastic. Yeah. Yep. So if we really struggle, I can often reach out to them. They'll say, yep, we'll come down, we'll bring a boat, or we'll grab someone for you. So it's that really good interaction with not only other VFA staff but with the public. So
Yeah, I think they've got a much better relationship with the general public and fishing clubs now than probably what they've had over history, because the same guy probably booked you on one side and probably asked you for help on the other. But they've sort of got that team that's involved, and I know a lot of them now. And you know, if you're going to pick a footy team, you'd pick a lot of those guys and girls on these teams. They're fantastic.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah. Adele, Katie, have you been over there lately?
Not lately.
No.
Too busy.
Oh yeah.
Too busy.
It must be getting started. It must be soon. We've probably got to get Anthony Forster on.
I was going to say he'd be a man for dates and numbers, but I think we're working towards it. So it's happening.
Yeah. So it should be. I just think construction's next week should be producing. Sorry, next year. I wish.
Yeah, come hurry up.
So Charlie, I think in production in 2022, which will actually, that could ramp up pretty quickly. I mean, you've got the recipe.
Yeah, so we could pretty much hit the ground running with that site, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing new. We're not reinventing the wheel.
No.
We're just making it a little bigger and flashier.
Yeah, a little bit of equipment and that. Can I just thank you for coming in, Adele and Rhiannon? Thank you so much. Good to see a few people that, the mystical Snobs Creek hatchery we talk about, the millions of fish that come out, but it's good to see the people that are behind it all, and seriously, I think I said earlier 20,000, there's now 50,000 people wanting your job. You have got a really exciting job, but great that you can come in and share it, and thank you very much for that.
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
Really appreciate
thanks everyone.
it. So, that's it for Talking Fishing. A great show. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, I think we've got a special guest, but I've got no idea who.
Oh, nice. Surprise.
We're juggling the dates with a few people, but I'll tell you what, we've got some really special things coming up. If you're heading out on the water this weekend, please stay safe and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.